Hey guys, it's Amanda and welcome back to my channel, Hoot of the Sims. So today we are getting right into the build, as you can see. But this build is actually a resort, and you might say, what do you mean a resort? We didn't get resorts with island living. How is that even possible? Well, I'll tell you. So my brain works in a completely different way than most people's, I would say. I see the impossible and I make it possible. My thought process here was basically that, there are things called generic lots, right? So why can't I make a generic lot into a resort? It's basically a resort where your Sims can stay charge free. And there, you don't get to run it, which is the only downside of it, but it has all the amenities that a normal Sims resort would have. So that would include, and not limited to, a spa. The spa is located on the top floor of this build. You won't see the inside, I don't think, at all being put together in this part, and a lot changes on the outside too, because I'm so indecisive about room placement in the main part of the building and so on and so forth. But there is a spa, and there's also a little hut that is disconnected from the resort that is basically meant for a sauna. So there's a little sauna in there that your Sims can go in and enjoy the heat and kind of detoxify their bodies from basically sweating all day in Sulani, because Sulani is a very, very hot environment, as you guys can probably tell by the way the world looks. So there's a spa, there is a sauna, like I said. There is also a huge game room. When I say huge, I mean huge. It is absolutely ginormous. It actually fills like an entire half of the first floor, basically. And then the other half of the first floor is a beautiful lobby with a bar area. There are some buffet tables. They are located outside. I know that's kind of a weird location for them to be, but there isn't food all day long, so I thought it made sense to put them outside for it to be more noticeable, because this resort is meant for more Sims to kind of, spend time outside and not so much inside activities. Besides the spa and the game room, that's pretty much all you can do inside. But in the outside, I put a bunch of the little floaty lounge chairs that your Sims can enjoy and relax on top of the water. They can go swimming in the water. This resort, like I said, I spent a lot of time thinking, like, will this actually work? You know what I mean? And I wasn't sure at first. The layout changes, like I said, throughout the entire build. I was never consistent with the layout. I wasn't sure how the layout I had currently would work. As you can see, the rooms would be very, very tiny if I kept them with that size. Now, if I made the resort bigger, the problem is that the feature of the resort would be lost, and I'm not going to spoil the feature until it's shown in the video, and I don't even know if I start making that feature in this first part. There's going to be 3 total parts, and yes, 3 parts to this build. It took me so long. I kind of wish I would have kept the original videos that weren't sped up so I could figure out exactly how long this took. But after these were sped up and created and basically put together into one video, I deleted all of the individual components. So there's no way in telling how long this build actually took me, but there was about 5 or 6 different video clips, basically separate ones, ranging from about 10 to 20, 25 minutes long each of building. So, you take, let's say, an average of 15, 18 minutes. So let's do 18, 18 times 5. That is the amount of minutes I spent with each video. And there are 3 of these videos. And keep in mind, too, that some of them were more, some of them were less than the 18-minute mark, So it's kind of hard to tell how long this build took me. And I would like to know, like I said, but I have no idea. Alas, I have no idea. But yeah, this was just like a dream that I wanted to compute into The Sims because I knew I could do it and I just wasn't sure exactly how I wanted to have this come to life, you know? I wasn't sure if I wanted to just stick with the main part of the building or do something more interesting, and instead I ended up doing something more interesting with the build, and you guys will see what I'm talking about, I think, in this part, I hope. But my goodness, this build is probably one of my more favorite builds of all time. I don't know how frequently I will be using this, but I know a lot of people in the Sims community were really upset when they heard that resorts were not included with island living. And I was one of those people at first, but you gotta look at it as they're not trying to recreate past packs. Like, if they basically just kept recreating the same game over and over again, wouldn't that just get a little boring? You know what I mean? We need more excitement. We need different content, and that's why I absolutely enjoy that they added the conservationist career because, as you guys probably know, the oceans are really polluted with trash, and this is not like a fake news thing. The Sims threw in the game. You know, like, this is real life stuff that we're talking about here. And I think it makes the game more inclusive and it just brings awareness to real life issues that people deal with, you know? The most annoying thing about that entire thing, you know, is that maybe they just didn't have time to do resorts or they spent their money on other things like the mermaids, but honestly, I think the mermaids are lacking a little bit. I feel like you could do a lot more with them. I love how you can do the siren call and all of that stuff, but I feel like there should be some sort of skill that came with mermaids. I'm not sure exactly what that would be. Maybe like a scavenging skill where they basically have an easier time finding collectibles or something with a trait, or they earn the trait, or they're born with that trait because they're mermaids. I don't know. I felt like this, there was some small, minor missed opportunities with the mermaids, but I'm not too upset about it, honestly, because they're fun to play with for a little while, and then I kind of, like, go back to the same old, like, realistic game style play, you know what I mean? But yeah, I don't know. That's my little rant about the pack. I still highly recommend everybody getting it if they like oceans and all of that. Definitely a pack worth spending your money on. I'm going to say that right now. Not only because of the oceans, but look at the beautiful build mode items that we have. Like, I pretty much use only island living build items on the outside of this build. The flooring is island living. The wallpaper is island living. The railings are island living. The fences is what I mean by railings. The doors, the windows, the roof texture, like everything is from island living. So I highly recommend. And now you guys are going to see what I'm talking about here. My little extra added on feature that I wanted to use for the entire resort. And I just wanted to say it right away. But yeah, these little buildings out here, they're little gondolas that your Sims can stay at and rent. These gondolas not only have like their own unit, so it's private for your Sims to stay in these on the water, but they have an entire kitchen to themselves inside of these units. They have a bed, they have a bathroom, they have TVs. It is basically a small house that these little gondolas are, which I think was incredible, and that's what I wanted to do the whole time in this build. I wanted to kind of play with the actual island living pack and make it look like it's actually island living, if you know what I mean. Because honestly, the resort itself, the main building, is really cool, you know what I mean? But it doesn't entirely give an island vibe, and I wanted my Sims to be able to live, like, on the water or rent on the water, and this is exactly what this resort allows you to do. This part here was frustrating me because these little walkways and pathways would not cooperate. I wanted them to be symmetrical. I wanted them to not look stupid when they're next to each other because one of the sides for some reason was giving me so much grief. Like, you see that one block gap. I could not get the one block gap to go or like delete on that one side, so I decided to add the one block gap on the other side, and that's how these ended up going. And I think eventually here, I don't know what happens, but I think I realized that the shapes of these, yeah, when I'm trying to put the roof down, this was so frustrating. I thought I got a perfect, like, what do you call these? They're not hexagons. Or are they hexagons? Either way, when I was trying to make this structure, I realized that the roofs would not place perfectly, and I was like, why is this? One of the sides had an extra block, so it wasn't symmetrical, so I ended up having to remove all of them and remake it and copy them all over again, and it was just such a mess. And like, I was like, okay, well, maybe it's because it's too big, you know? And then I did it here again. I added an extra side, and it wasn't like symmetrical to how the roofing works, you know? I was all sorts of struggling here. Like, I was like, okay, that's too small, you know? So we're gonna make a bigger one. This is the size that I wanted originally, and I don't know how I messed it up, but I did. And I finally got it right. Yay! So we're moving them over, we're placing them, we're copying all the buildings, and we're doing all this fun stuff. But honestly, this is my favorite part of the entire resort. When I say favorite part, I mean favorite part. It turned out so nice, and I'm not even trying to like toot my own horn, you know what I mean? I just really liked how these little gondolas turned out, and they're so cute, they're so adorable. I love it. This is probably where I would stay if this resort was a real life place, you know? Just to sleep right over the water and have that view would be incredible. And each of these little gondolas have their own characteristics. So I think it's in either the middle or the far right one. I don't remember. I had it originally as like a black and white theme, but I was like, that's not islandy enough, you know? So I changed it to be more colorful, but each of them have their own theme. Oh my god, I'm so sorry. I'm like burping and talking at the same time, and I don't feel like cutting it out of the video because you know why? I'm lazy. But anyways, so each of these have their own little color theme. I think the one on the far right, or left, the far left is like a reddish orange theme. The one in the middle is like a green or like a blue, and then I don't remember what the other one was. I think it's like yellow and orange. But either way, they're laid out the same, but they have their own characteristics. And I wanted this part to stand out completely because of the fact that these are the feature part. This is the feature part of the resort. The rest of the resort is nice, don't get me wrong, but to stay in one of these cute little gondolas would be incredible. And I just wanted them all to be unique because, you know, it'd be kind of boring to make the same thing over and over again. I might as well have just saved a room and then placed it and then recolored everything. But I wanted to have that flexibility. If I wanted to make them slightly different, I could in this way. And, yeah, I don't know. Like, I wanted a bunch of plants around here because, you know, it's a tropical island. When you think of a tropical island, you think of lush, green plants, and you think of them being everywhere, and just, you know, I wanted that vibe also inside of these cute little gondolas, which I did. And I wanted it to be natural, but I also wanted it to be like a modern, rustic feel. So that's why I added some candles in there, and a bunch of the plants, and a bunch of cute little decorations, and all of this stuff. So, and I'm really excited to like play test this. I did notice on playback on one of the videos, I did forget to put some wallpaper up. So I already have this build in the gallery, which sucks. But I think I'm going to have to take the original one down and upload an updated one so I don't have missing wallpaper in the main part of the hotel. I think it's actually in the spa area behind the waterfall wall. I'm not entirely sure. But, yeah, that happened. So I'm kind of mad about that. But it'll be an easy fix. I'll figure it out. It's going to be okay. I'll just delete it and re-upload it, and everything will be fine. But as you can see, each of these little gondolas have their own bathroom. And I think this is a really important thing to remember because I wanted to also recall that, privacy is an issue. I want to make sure these Sims are not peeing in the open public, or showering and being naked in front of other Sims. So I wanted to take that into account. I snuck that toilet around the corner, and I put the sink in the shower in front of that open window, and I just had no other way of kind of formatting that, but I also wanted them to have privacy and be able to open it theoretically with a curtain, and I felt like that was the best way to have that bathroom become functional and to make sense. So we have a little curtain that blocks the privacy, and Sims can shower in peace. So there's that. I also wanted to have a few future walls, which is why I put the stone in front of the bed in the TV area, and oh my god, my eyes, I'm sorry, that just got really bright when I placed down those lights. But to say the very least, you guys can see that this has a lot of characteristic. There's a lot of detailing that went into this, a lot of move objects, a lot of resizing objects too, surprisingly. But it took so long to get this build up and running and to work. It was insane, and I was so indecisive about these colors. I wasn't sure what I wanted to do, but I wanted them all to be the same in the inside. I didn't want to, basically stiff a renter out of, an extra bed or an extra feature that another gondola didn't have, so I kept the layouts the same. I just changed the colors, and it really does change the mood inside of them. And to be completely honest with you, I think I would pick the middle one, so the bluish, green theme to stay in, or the far left one with all the fun colors. But, knowing me, sorry, that's my cat, he's probably going to be meowing at me in a second here, but knowing me, I would stay at that middle one because it reminds me more of an ocean vibe, whereas the other one just reminds me of, a tropical feel. Well, hello! What's up? Are you going to meow again? Say hello! I'm recording. You're interrupting me. Yeah. You're interrupting me. Meow. 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 Is that right? Oh my goodness. I'm sorry about that. He's, now he's jumping on my lap. He just wants attention, so I guess I'm gonna pet him and try to stay on track with this voiceover that you're interrupting, boy. Huh? Lollipop, what do you think you're doing? Huh? What do you think you're doing? Say hello. Oh, yes. He's not shy, I'm telling you. You guys, he'll let you know how he's feeling. He'll let you know if he's hungry. He'll let you know if he needs something. He does not shut up. But he's my little baby. I can't be mad at him. He just wants attention and love. Don't you? Don't you? Are you saying you like the build? Yeah, me too. Kitty. Wow, let's go. Let's finish. There's literally only 7 minutes left. You can calm down and go away. Please and thank you. Good boy. Oh my god. But anyways, I don't even remember what I was talking about. I think I was talking about the colors and the designs and how I wanted to keep the designs the same. Because I feel like if I change the designs, they would almost feel like they're not cohesive with one another. I know Sims wouldn't be able to see the insides of the other parts of the resort, but I wanted to keep that in mind. Let's say that there's a family retreat, and there is an entire family renting out these gondolas, and they need to rent out all of them to fit all of the Sims that are staying, So that was my mindset. So, obviously they'd be visiting each other and seeing the other person's gondolas in the inside, and if somebody had a TV and another one didn't, they would get upset. So I wanted them to be equal, but I also wanted them to have their own characteristics and vibes, which is why I changed colors. And basically all I did was move things around. The layouts are slightly different. On the far left one, I had the TV on the middle left area, whereas this is on the middle right. So I just kind of flip things around, but it all works, and it all has the same vibe, all has the same items in it. They're just different colors, and I think that adds to the uniqueness of this build for sure. And I think the hotel room is where I kept it consistent, because when you go to a hotel room, all the hotel rooms are the same. I think the only things that really change in most hotels is maybe like an artwork piece on the wall or something minor like that. So I wanted to kind of keep the typical hotel vibe in the main part of the building, but on the outside, I wanted this to be the feature, so I wanted it to look the same but different, if that makes any sense at all. But this is already on the gallery, so if you guys do want to go check it out and download it, I think I've uploaded it as Tropical Island Getaway Resort or something along those lines. If you just look up Hoot of the Sims, so my channel name on YouTube and Twitch, you will be able to find me by my EA account ID. And then when you're searching my name, make sure you include CC. And if you're wondering, where do I do that? You know, like it's just, if you open up that gallery, it is on the left menu option, on the left panel. And there's literally a button that says check to include custom content or something along those lines. So all you have to do is just check the box, search my EA account ID, find me, and then check the box if it became unchecked, whatever you need to do. And it should be one of the first few builds. You won't miss it. It looks huge on the gallery. Like, it's a huge build. But yeah, honestly, if things are misplaced, I would also recommend when you're placing the lot to type in Shift-Control-C to open up your cheats menu, type in testing cheats space on, and then hit enter. And then one more cheat that you would need to type in is bb.moveobjects. And I can't stress this enough because I have placed lots on the gallery that I can tell use move objects, and I forget to type in move objects when I'm placing these lots down. Do you want to know what happens? Things become scattered and they look out of place, or items go missing entirely. So when you're downloading this lot, just make sure that you prepare and do the include custom content and the move objects cheat before you place and download this lot. Just a little tip for you guys, because I do use that a lot. It's not much of a step that you have to worry about or deal with, you know. It's just a friendly reminder. If you're gonna download this lot, just make sure you're placing it in a proper manner so you're not missing any features or what have you. So, but yeah, my little rant over here. This was a really annoying part of the build, and I'm not even joking, because every time I removed this flooring in here or this foundation, it would show up and it would just be those two blocks that would overhang. So I was like, well, I guess I can't get rid of it because it's gonna like ruin the entire build. So instead what I did was made this a cute little like look out with plants in it, and I thought that was really fitting for an island resort. I have used this trick in the past to kind of get away with things that wouldn't work in my favor. Pro tip, when you don't know what to do, put plants there. That's probably what you guys have noticed about my builds. Like, they do look really, really cluttered, but the only reason why they look so cluttered is because I fill them with plants. Like, fill them to the brim. When in doubt, plant out. That's what I say. But it looked really good, to say the very least, about it. I wasn't sure what I wanted to do with that little lookout. It just wouldn't go away. And I didn't want to rebuild the entire build, you know what I mean? So I just kind of stuck with that. It gave the build a really, really cool vibe. And here, as you can see, I am changing the outside. I have no idea what I'm doing. I don't know what I want to do for the colors. And I realized just now, maybe if I keep that size of a lot, or room, that these rooms would be tiny. Like, literally 4x4 or 5x4 rooms. That is all that these little hotel rooms would be. And that is not what I wanted to get and have for the vibe of this main part of the resort either. I wanted the main part of the resort to look basically like friendly and open, but I also didn't want this part to be like the main feature, you know what I mean? So I wanted them all to look the same, basically, like consistent wise with wallpapers and such, and the shapes of them and how much space they took and what it looked like on the outside. So it was just a lot of like changing things and moving things and doing just a bunch of random stuff to get this build to work and like look what I wanted it to look like on the outside. That was the worst part, because I made the outside first and I was like, oh, there'll be a room here, 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 here. They're going to be this size and that size. And it's like, nope, they're going to change entirely. Look at this. I'm even making the deck smaller on the front part. So it's just like, I changed so much in this build. I can't even tell you how long it took me to realize all the mistakes I made, and now I'm watching this again, you know, and it's just like, how did I not see that the way I built it was too small for all of these rooms that I had in mind? You know what I mean? I think what I want to do, or what I should do in the future to basically satisfy my big room or like little room, lots of room ideas, big room, lots of room ideas is what I was trying to say, is build on a bigger lot, but I don't even know how I'm going to do that. But this is it for today's video. If you enjoyed it, make sure to give it a huge thumbs up and subscribe to my channel if you guys haven't already. It's just a click away, a tap away, whatever device you're watching this on. And I would really appreciate that. And maybe I'll see you guys on Twitch. I do live stream at least once or twice a week. Schedule varies, so you can look at my panels in my Twitch channel as you scroll below. But anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed the build. And until next time, hoot out.